Hey, welcome back to the Comic Book Lowdown, where I review comic books and comic book story arcs. Today, we're continuing with Venom, the Savage Six by Rick Remender and Cullen Bunn. This is part 3, right? Part 3, issue 20, and we're gonna jump right into it. Um, so last issue we left off where Flash just saved Jesse, but in the meantime, Betty was kidnapped by Toxin, and his mom was kidnapped by Human Fly. So right now, Flash is at a crossroads, and so getting right into it, Flash goes to his mom's house in Queens, and he inspects the house, and he sees that it's ransacked, and he finds some of the acid vomit from the Human Fly, so he knows that he's been there. And while he's inspecting the house, he gets a surprise visit by Death Adder, in where you finally see him. I really like this issue because I really wanted to see him. I don't know, the first time I saw him, I just really wanted to see this character in full action, and this is where you get to see that. So, big fight ensues. This issue is really action packed. Big fight ensues, and what I really like about this, and they introduced this element in issue 17, where Death Adder's claws are poisoned and his tail is poisoned. And so every time he sticks his claws into Flash's mind goes into a totally new place, and he's thinking about the circus, and so he's got to like convince himself to snap out of it, and he's getting all dizzy and stuff. Really cool, two really cool panels happen right here where you can't just fight him. Because since he's so dizzy, he can't just fight him straight up with one knife, so he picks up a bunch of knives, and then just full 2-page spread. I don't know, you can see some of the knives going into Death Adder, and he says that he never makes a noise, but he can hear him silently screaming. And throughout this whole fight, the residents of the apartment are like looking in and stuff, and they're just coming out of there's a guy who's shaving and he's in his underwear. See that guy? So yeah, the way he finally snaps himself out, it's really gross, and you can see or how desperate Flash is just to get this fight over with, so he can move on, because he has no time for this. So to get his mind straight from all the poison, he just jams his fist right into the acid vomit of the Human Fly right there. Really, really intense stuff. So the fight continues on. Pretty long fight, actually. And Flash pretty much throws Death Adder through a wall, and Death Adder runs away into another lady's apartment, and it's this mom and her little baby son, and then Flash gets there right in time, and just in a really, really intense scene. This panel reminds me of issue 9, where he bites off the what's his name, the hijacker's head. This is a really intense panel, and it just throughout these few panels throughout these, let me see. Right there, he's telling the lady to get out with her son, and just in this red panel right here, he just snaps his neck. So that's the end of Death Adder, which is which is a long shot because usually you don't see characters that are supposed to be superheroes, kill their enemies, but that's the comic that we're into right now. Flash is killing his enemies. And the art by Lan Medina really works throughout this whole run, really. It really works, but I really love it in his action scenes with Death Adder. And then you get some insight to where Toxin has taken Betty. Toxin took Betty to the Crime Master where he's at. They're in a warehouse. Or, no, not a warehouse. They're in an abandoned shipyard. And, Betty's... I'll just show you. Betty's in this room all by herself. And she hears over the speaker Crime Master's talking to her. And pretty much says that he wants to meet her face to face to have words. And Betty, her first response is to say no, but then Crime Master assures her that if she doesn't leave, that the doors will not open again ever. So she does leave to go meet Crime Master. And this, when I first read this, first read this part, I didn't know who was talking, and then when I found out who was talking, it was very shocking. Right now they're back at, Flash pretty much went to, I think it's a church. I think it's a church that Human Fly pretty much brings all his food to. And so you just hear some yelling and just somebody pleading for like, no man, please don't, and and just slicing and all that kind of stuff. And you see Flash's mom just terrified, and she says that she doesn't want to see this. And my initial thought before turning the page was that Human Fly was eating somebody, but in all actuality, Flash is there and he cuts off one of the wings on the Human Fly. And even though it's so gruesome, I was deep down inside, I had a feeling of relief, a feeling, because I hate the Human Fly so much. He's such a nuisance in this run, and to see him get what he deserves, I don't want to say it brought a smile to my face because it just looks so bad, but it kind of did. So he's pretty much forcing Human Fly to tell him where they took Betty, where Crime Master is hiding out at, and Human Fly is pretty much saying that he's gonna talk. And even though he says that he's gonna talk, Flash goes ahead and cuts off his other wing. And just really, really scary panel right here in the corner. Actually these two panels next to each other. Flash says, I thought you wanted to talk. And then he says, so talk. And then right here, actually, you just see, it says talk. And then you just see sweat on the Human Fly's eye, and you see just venoms all in his eye. And so I thought that was, now Flash means business. I'm pretty sure Human Fly doesn't die. So I don't know what they're going to make of him throughout the rest of the series, if they're going to make anything of him. But I don't think he dies. So anyways, we're back to Betty. And Betty pretty much finds a shrine to her. Just pictures of her and her brother. And, she's kind of like freaked out. Like, why are there all these pictures of me and my brother here? And then Crime Master's pretty much just like, meet the family. And the big reveal happens, and Crime Master is Betty Brant's brother, Bennett Brant, who was supposed to have died in Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man issue 11, I think. Pretty sure they say it somewhere. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's issue 11. And just the shock on Betty's face when she finds that out. And Bennett pretty much just tells her that, you know, we're gonna get to be a family again, but first you're gonna watch me kill Flash Thompson. And that scene, or that panel, I really liked, but the only thing that kind of messed it up was if you read the previously page at the start of the comic book, it shows you a couple things that happened earlier in Venom, but for whatever reason, it pretty much just shows you Betty Brant and her brother, and it tells you a backstory about it. Like, it says, I hurt her like her brother Bennett hurt her when he fell in with the mob. And then later it just says that he dies in the mob. So, whatever reason, you could kind of guess what the reveal was. I mean, if you were like me, you went on to Marvel.com and you looked up a little preview of this, and it says Crime Master is revealed, and once you know that, and then you see the fact that they mentioned Bennett in the previously page, even though so far he hasn't had no real part in the whole series, you can kind of put two and two together. But as most people probably didn't do that, it was a big reveal. I mean, it was still a big reveal for me. This issue, really good issue. I don't think it was as good as 19, but it is winding down now. I mean, still really good story arc series. Everything about it's good. Writing's good. Art's good. Cover art's great. No real complaints about this except for the fact that I kind of ruined it for myself just by using simple detective work. But issue 20, really good. Stay tuned to part 5 where I'm going to be reviewing issue 21 and the last part of this story arc before the epilogue. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in part 5.